Rainbow Dash rolled over with a happy sigh. She loved her bed. She loved her bed almost as much as she loved sleeping itself. Scratching her nose absently, she had chanced to look at her alarm clock. 6 a.m.? That was odd. She never usually awoke till 7:25, 5 minutes before her old morning weather shift started. Being the fastest flyer of Cloudsdale and its benefits, and she had never been late for a shift in her life. But even though she had traded in the weather for wonderbolts, she could not shake the tendency to wake up at the time. Figuring she must have hit a bird or heard a bird or something, she snuggled back under the blankets for more sleep. This was curtailed, however, by a loud clanging noise. She shot right up a bed and wings flared reflexively. What the? The bang was followed by a clatter, like the sound of a small, localized earthquake. Patiently impossible, since it was coming from the kitchen in her cloud house. Shuckling in her bedcloths, Rainbow shot downstairs, eschewing the steps in favor of tight corners on the wing. She skidded to a stop in her kitchen doorway, jaw-dropping. The normally tidy, or at least functional space looked like a snowstorm that had blown through. Except instead of snow, it was flour and sprinkles. The counters were piled high, with oven trays, bags of sugar, baking, parchment paper, and various bowls of practically mixed batter in the middle of it all. Humming to herself and wearing a hearth-warming sweater 2 sizes too big for her, was Pinkie Pie. Her hooves sparkled vaguely with magic whenever they had touched the cloud floor. "Morning, Dashie," Pinkie called brightly, tossing her head and sending puffs of flour from her mane. There were more lights in it, where there were freaking string lights in her mane. "Happy hearth's warming, or should I say happy hearth's morning, get it?" Rainbow blinked. "Pinkie Pie, what in the equestria are you doing here? It's 6 in the morning, on hearth's warming." 6:04 a.m. actually, Pinkie corrected. "I had to account for baking time, frosting time, and distraction time, which, by the way, you hadn't come downstairs as quickly as I thought you would. I think you drowned out my noise with your snoring. Did you know how you snore? Like really loud. It's super cute, like a baby heffalump." Rainbow felt her face heat up. "I don't snore, and how did you even get here anyhow? I live in a cloud house. You can't just walk up here like it's Sugar Cube Corner." Pinkie turned, balancing a tray of freshly cut raw cookies on her head, and a usual grin plastered across her face as she giggled, bouncing the tray off her head and catching it expertly on her hoof. "You silly filly. I just used Twilight's cloud walking spell, and then I have patented Pinkie's sense to find the perfect moment to come over. And guess what? It worked. Here I am, ready and raring to go out." Rainbow groaned, running a hoof down her face. "Pinkie, I'm glad to see you and all, but you've waited until, a reasonable hour. What's so important that it couldn't wait?" With one hind hoof, Pinkie pulled open the oven, and Dash never really usually used it, since she mainly ate takeout if she was at home. Now it blasted hot air and the smell of cinnamon into the room. "I know, but I figured since you didn't have time for big family traditions or anything today, I'd bring hearth's warming to you. Twilight was busy in Canterlot, but Starlight Glimmer was kind enough to cast a cloud walking spell on me, so I didn't fall straight through for that moment. I parked my balloon bike outside, and she was more than okay about casting it on me last minute, especially since she was already wide awake. In fact, I don't think she actually went to sleep last night, judging by her eye bags and Trixie's eye bags. She stayed over at the castle on hearth's warming, while Twilight and Spike are away. Poor Trixie must not have any place to go for the holidays. I think I should make them a coffee cake as a gift, or mix a sleeping potion into some chocolate pudding, so that they could get some rest instead of staying awake to read books or cast spells or whatever. It was what they were doing that made them both so tired. But anyway, I even brought cookies, coca, and, she trailed off, glancing at the mess she made, an avalanche of the holiday spirit with me. Rainbow Dash groaned, digging a hoof down her face. Pinks, I appreciate it though, but you couldn't have done this later? I was kind of in the middle of my favorite hearthwarming tradition, sleeping in late. Pinkie's face faltered. She gave somewhat of a sheepish chuckle. Oh, yeah, sure. But, to tell you the truth, I really didn't want to be alone this morning, so I thought why not spend it with one of my best friends instead. Rainbow paused, her annoyance ebbing away. Wait, what? Why aren't you with your family? You don't usually head to the rock farm for hearthwarming. Pinkie hesitated, a smile flickering like a dying candle flame. They all come down with feldspar flu this year. It's super contagious, so Mom will be sending a message last night to say I should stay in Ponyville to be safe. She said it was fine that I should celebrate with my friends instead, and they'll see me in the new year if they're well enough, but, Rainbow Dash prompted gently. She stepped closer, releasing a jolt that Pinkie's eyes were glossy with unhushed tears. Pinkie sighed, her usual boundiness energy dimming. It's just sometimes I already feel like I don't fit in back at home, you know. I'm all balloons and confetti, and they're all rocks and rules. I tell myself it's fine, that every pony is special in their own way. But some days are easier than others, and now I can't even be there when they're sick, or they don't want me there while they're sick. What kind of a daughter doesn't show up for hearthwarming? What if I'm just too annoying to have around anyone while they're still ill? I bet they don't miss me. For a moment, Rainbow just stared. Pinkie always was so bright and full of life. She looked so small and vulnerable. It tugged something deep inside her. Slowly she reached out and rested a hoof on Pinkie's shoulder. That's total bullshit, Rainbow Dash said firmly. Dashy! Pinkie gasped. You said a swear. I'll say as many swears as if I have to get you to realize that you're just an amazing daughter and an awesome sister. Just because you're different doesn't mean they don't love you. Have you seen how Maud talks about you? She lights up her own Maudie way whenever she mentions you. And I guarantee your parents miss you more than anything right now. They're probably just trying to be strong for you. Pinkie sniffled, her eyes glistening with unhushed tears. You really think so? I know so, Pinkie. You make every pony's life better just by being you. If your family can't have you with them today, then I'm the luckiest pony in Equestria to have you here, with me instead, even if you did wake me up at an ass crack of dawn. Pinkie blared at her. Dashy, that's probably the sweetest thing any pony's ever said to me. Rainbow chuckled, brushing a strand of flower-covered mane from Pinkie's face. Well, don't get used to it. I've got a reputation to maintain. Pinkie giggled, a sound so pure that it made Rainbow Dash's heart skip a beat. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. Before she could reply, Pinkie leaned forward and pressed her lips on Rainbow Dash's cheek. The kiss was soft, fleeting, and yet sent a jolt of warmth down Rainbow's chest. Instead of a beat, her heart skipped in the entire drum solo. When Pinkie pulled back, her cheeks were as pink as her mane. Thanks for being my hearthwarming miracle, Pinkie whispered. Rainbow just stared at her for a moment, her wings unfurling slightly. With then a wide grin, she leaned in and kissed Pinkie properly, savoring away Pinkie's breath hitched in his surprise as she melted onto it. When they finally pulled apart, Pinkie was beaming, her eyes sparkling brighter than the stars outside. Happy hearthwarming, Dashy. Yeah, totally. Happy hearthwarming, Pinks. Want to help me make cookies? Do I get to eat them afterwards? Silly, cookies come straight out of the oven that will burn your mouth, are the best part of baking on hearthwarming. And as soon as the two of them got to work, surrounded by a kitchen full of chaos and holiday cheer, Rainbow Dash couldn't imagine a better way to spend the day, even if she did have to get up early. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, Comment and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.